The horror anime, The Summer Hikaru Died, one of the most peak anime of 2025 so far, is back again with another episode. This episode not only being shockingly super deep and profound, but also containing what I think might be one of my favorite series of horror scenes of this series so far. Hello everyone, I'm Finn. Welcome back to Finn Films. Join me once again as we are breaking down everything that happened on the most recent episode of The Summer Hikaru Died, episode 6, in a nutshell. Last time on The Summer Hikaru Died, Yoshiki and his family were plagued by a strange wig ghost, a spirit living in their bathroom, as Yoshiki's relationship with Hikaru continues to attract new spirits towards him. Yoshiki seemingly unable to stop himself from mixing with this strange skinwalking entity. Hikaru comes over to deal with the wig ghost, but Yoshiki freaks out when he sees Hikaru underwater and unmoving in his bathtub. As Yoshiki touches him, suddenly he is possessed by the wig ghost as he attempts to drown his best friend, Hikaru managing to fight him off and then using his weird eldritch-like powers to remove the ghost from Yoshiki and destroy it. Episode 6 opens with Yoshiki daydreaming in class when he is approached by Asako, who asks him about a printout given to him by their teacher, Masuda. This printout is a philosophical story of a swamp man, a young man who gets struck by lightning and dies. Another man with the same appearance and memories seemingly spawning in, not realizing that he is in fact a different person, a different man from the man who just died. So he continues to just live his normal life. The philosophical question of the scenario being, is this newly created person the same person that just died or something completely different? Yoshiki's friends saying that he doesn't think they are the same, but he's not exactly sure why. Asako chiming in, saying that the human cells in the human body changes every day in many different ways. So in many ways, we are a different person every single day. So she believes that this makes them the same person. Now this is a classic kind of philosophical scenario that is oftentimes tested in the brain transplant thought experiment. Basically a similar scenario where a person's brain is transplanted into a new body with all of the same memories and personality traits they had before. The question being, is this a new person or the same person? Now obviously this question and idea is extremely important to Yoshiki, considering the whole skinwalking Hikaru situation going on. Yoshiki constantly gripping with the nature of this new Hikaru, this new being. The fact that he knows his best friend is dead, but yet here stands before him a carbon copy of that person that has his memories and looks and acts basically just like him. Well, aside from the very weird eldritch horror-like impulses. Yoshiki though takes comfort in Asako's logic, and according to her, this would mean that Hikaru is technically still alive. The group continue to practice their choir song for their upcoming performance, as Yoshiki continues to think about Hikaru and this idea of what makes a person themselves. Is it their memory, their cells, or their experiences, their soul, or possibly something else? Later, Asako wakes up Hikaru, who is sleeping in class, giving him back his gym clothes. Asako then asks the friend group if they want to hang out this weekend, as they decide to have a sleepover at Hikaru's house and shoot off fireworks. Hikaru and Yoshiki then riding their bikes home, slowly making their way up a very steep hill. Hikaru's bike pops a flat tire though, one of the village elders, Mr. Mikasa, rolling by in his truck giving them a ride home. We then flash back over to the kids' school later that evening, as we see a flickering light, as the moth-like bug falls to the ground, flailing, the camera fading, the light flickering, as we see a strange shadow-like entity momentarily. The moth continuing to writhe until finally it stops, the light flickering again as we see a horrifying visage, a mortifying floating head, its mouth agape, its eyes wide, two massive black piercing deep pools. The next day, everyone is hanging out at Hikaru's house as the group discuss which fireworks they want to shoot off. Yoshiki goes to Hikaru's room to get a game for them to play when an old hat falls on his head. The hat looking familiar to Yoshiki, as we are then transported into a flashback of their childhood, as we see the same festival from the previous episode but many years prior. Yoshiki's father telling him that the village holds this festival for the god who lives on the mountain, the strange, mysterious mountain spirit Nonuki-sama, which so far we have been led to believe is the entity which has claimed Hikaru. His father telling him never to climb that mountain, as he would get snatched up. Suddenly Hikaru and his father come walking up to them, as we see that the hat that fell on Yoshiki's head did belong to Hikaru's father, as we are transported back to the present. Yoshiki then goes to grab the game when suddenly a piece of paper falls out of Hikaru's clothes. The paper is old and wet with Hikaru's handwriting and the word Hichi and the phrase the Endo's role, the Endo being Hikaru's family name for context. as Yoshiki puts the paper into his pocket. From the information we know so far, this piece of paper likely belonged to the real original Hikaru, and it got wet from the rainy day in the mountain when Hikaru passed on in the opening scenes of Season 1. The piece of paper seemingly referencing Hikaru's attempt to complete the Endo family ritual with the strange mountain spirit. Later that evening, the group play with the fireworks, having a good time. Asuko taking photos to remember the fun evening, and a bunch of really fun, cute scenes with some cool animations of the fireworks. However, their final lighter goes out, Hikaru then deciding to walk to the nearby town to get a new one, Asuko wanting to join him. On their walk, Asuko chats with Hikaru, asking him about the mountain, and saying that she is really glad that he is back and okay. Asuko then nervously asking Hikaru, "Who are you, really?" Hikaru turning around in shock and horror, the screen fading to black as we are taken into another flashback, this time of a young Asuko talking with her grandmother in a playground. Asuko hearing a strange banging sound, her grandmother telling her that while she can't hear anything, she does see a little, as their family has the ability to send spirits, something we learned earlier on in this series. Her grandmother telling her that our real world overlaps with the spirit world, and they exist right alongside us. Later on, Asuko sees her best friend Yu-chan, as the girl excitedly begins to run across the street to the playground. Asuko suddenly stops, hearing the sounds of footsteps, as she sees a spectral entity making its way towards Yu-chan, the spirit saying "look out," as in the distance a car is coming speeding down the road. Asuko yelling for her friend to stop. As she does so, the car comes flying by, almost running her over. Asuko realizing that the spirit was trying to warn her. We shift back to the present, Hikaru looking at Asuko completely stunned as he is terrified that she knows his secret, that he is not the real Hikaru. Hikaru's eyes shifting as he steps towards her, putting his hand on her face, as he creepily looks at her in this horrifying scene. His eye shifting, his pupil opening, releasing the strange eldritch entity inside of him as it emerges coming towards her. Suddenly though, Yoshiki's voice breaks through the scene as Hikaru pulls back, the entity moving back inside of him. Yoshiki stunned and in horror as he just witnessed basically this entire scene. As Asuko falls back unconscious, Yoshiki stopping Hikaru from killing her. Hikaru stumbles back as he attempts to explain what happened, as he mumbles that he probably shouldn't do that to Asuko. Yoshiki realizing what in fact Hikaru was trying to do, saying that this is a human life. Hikaru responding that dying and living really aren't that different. Is it actually better to be alive, as being dead or alive makes no difference to a creature like Hikaru that is technically not alive. Yoshiki asking if Hikaru lied when he said that he didn't want to kill him. Hikaru shifting, saying no, Yoshiki is special, but yet Hikaru can't seem to comprehend what makes Yoshiki special to him. Yoshiki realizing that this new skinwalking Hikaru was the one behind the death of the old woman earlier on in the season, as suddenly we get what might be my favorite horror moment of the series so far, as we watch Hikaru's mouth open obscenely wide, an eye opening deep within it, Yoshiki freaking out and vomiting, as Asuko wakes up. Asuko explains that she believes that Hikaru has been possessed by a bad ghost, as Asuko noticed different things about him since he came back, but she got the sense that this ghost that was possessing him was trying to protect Yoshiki, so it might not be all bad. Yoshiki then sends Asuko back to Hikaru's house as he leaves angrily. The next day, we see that Hikaru is very upset as he thinks about what life is and how death doesn't make you disappear from the world, and even though Yoshiki has a pretty soul, he doesn't want him to die, as he struggles with, again, what is his own feelings versus what is the memory of the first Hikaru. As the next day Hikaru prepares to leave to go to school, Yoshiki meeting him at his front door to his surprise as the episode ends. Wow, what an episode this week for this anime. This, a little horror anime, honestly, I think I say this every week, continues to surprise me. Not only with just like how bloody good it is, how interesting and fascinating a story it is, how scary and spooky and weird it is, while also containing really interesting and fascinating mysteries and character dynamics, but also I think for this episode specifically, just how shockingly deep it was. This episode really diving in on the philosophical question on what does it mean to be alive? What is life? What does it mean to even be a person? Obviously, we had the philosophical question of the swamp man, a philosophical kind of theoretical idea of the brain in the vat, the brain taken from one person and placed into another. This kind of thought experiment, again, really focusing on the idea of like, what does it mean to be a person? What does it mean to be alive? What defines us as a person? Is it our thoughts, our personality, our memories, our cells, or is it something different? Is it a soul? This amorphous idea of a soul that truly makes us who we are. This question obviously being super important to our main character, Yoshiki, as that is the question deep within him as he constantly ponders what is this new Hikaru? This skinwalking Hikaru, this eldritch supernatural entity that has claimed the body of his best friend. But not only the body, he has claimed the mind and the memories, in many ways, the soul. This new skinwalking Hikaru is his friend Hikaru. Though he is different in some aspects, most of him is the same. So is this still Hikaru, or is this something completely different? Something that Yoshiki is constantly trying to come to grips with, being reminded in one way that yes, this is the same person that he once knew, and then in many other ways that no, this is something completely different. This struggle very much playing out within the new skinwalking Hikaru's mind as well, as we see this constant tug on this being, this tug between what it wants as a supernatural, spirit entity and its memories and mind of the original Hikaru. As again, this new Hikaru retained the memories of the old Hikaru, hence why they are teasing this, but it seems pretty obvious, hence why the new Hikaru is so obsessed with Yoshiki, because the old Hikaru cared deeply for Yoshiki, possibly even loved him in more than just a platonic way. And as such, these feelings have been imprinted on this new skinwalking being, hence why it has this strange, weird, seemingly obsessive relationship with their friend, creating this horrifying yet fascinating, interesting, almost like dynamic, this kind of yandere dynamic between the characters. I absolutely love this anime. I love it when my anime gets real deep. It's one of the reasons why I am a big fan of the new shonen, kind of dystopian shonen Gachi Akuta, which I have done videos on my channel. And if you like stuff like this, if you like it when an anime or just a show in general is much more deeper than kind of like surface level entertainment, it's a series that really makes you think, like what we saw here in Summer Hikaru Dies, you will very much enjoy Gachi Akuta if you have not checked it out already. I highly recommend checking it out. Again, this anime continues to surprise me, man. It is hitting so many different facets. It isn't just simply a horror anime. It's also like a weird romance anime. It's a suspense anime. It's a mystery anime, while also having all of these really fascinating little moments of slice of life between like Yoshiki and Hikaru, as we see this new Hikaru try to adapt to being like a person. All of these moments coming together, blending to lower your guard down, and then they smack you again across the face with these horrific moments, reminding you that this is very much a horror suspense anime, and I absolutely love it. To me, this anime is absolutely peak. It literally has the entire package, from a banging, fascinating, super interesting story with really diverse, interesting characters, awesome, amazing animation. The animation really is absolutely fantastic, the way they blend all of these different animation styles, hitting us with some really beautiful, gorgeous, just straight up gorgeous scenes. And then at the same time, their quality of animation is so high, the production is so good that when they hit us with the horror scenes, the horrifying moments, it hits so hard. This anime is able to, very seamlessly blend between multiple genres so well. And I think that is one of the reasons that makes it so scary, is they sucker you into a false sense of security and then smack you again with the horror scenes. Yeah, there's so many things I love about this anime. I think it does everything well. While it may not be for everyone, personally, I think that it is probably one of the best anime to come out this year, and I can't wait to see just how this season is going to end and where this mystery is going to take us. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as that is the easiest way to support me, and it really does go a long way in putting this video into the algorithm. If you did enjoy this video, then why don't you check out some of my other anime content on screen now, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe out there, guys. Until next time, peace, love, Adu.